What to do, YouTube? MGM for Life here, back again, bringing you part 5 of my Generation 6 analysis. It's more really of like a pre-Generation 6 analysis, but whatever, we're going to get right into it with the next Pokemon on the overused list, which is Terrakion. Yes, Terrakion. Now, Terrakion's curls are going to be its attack, its speed, its typing, fighting, and rock. Really good offensive typing. Yeah, besides like a few obscure counters like Nidoqueen or what's another one? Golurk, which you're never going to see in OU. There's nothing that really can switch in. It hits everything for pretty much neutral damage. And it's a Mega Mawile check because obviously Mega Mawile's main hindrance is that it's very slow, so a Pokemon like Terrakion can come in on it. Even after taking a Pokemon down, it resists its priority Sucker Punch. So unless Mega Mawile gets a new priority Fairy type move or something like that in Generation 6, Mega Mawile is not going to want to Sucker Punch Terrakion because that'll just open up the floodgates for Terrakion to just destroy everything because of the Justified ability and the attack boost that it'll get. So this Pokemon is another nice check to Mega Mawile, so you're definitely going to see its usage go up, I believe, especially if Mega Mawile becomes a really popular Mega Evolution. Now, Terrakion's main con, and it's really hard to find a con for Terrakion because it's just such an amazing Pokemon, but its main con is that it's weak to most priority. It's weak to Bullet Punch, it's weak to Mach Punch, it's weak to Aqua Jet, it's weak to Vacuum Wave. Now, obviously, the more realistic ones are going to be Bullet Punch and Mach Punch, maybe even Aqua Jet, though, next gen, because Azumarill is becoming a fairy. Well, actually, Marill is a fairy, so it's safe to assume that Azumarill is going to be a fairy as well. So that's going to be a huge power water fairy type that it's probably going to be see a lot of usage because Azumarill really is a really decent Pokemon. It's got some nice bulk and whatever, and it has the priority Aqua Jets. Plus, rain teams are a thing, so choice banded priority Aqua Jets coming from a huge power max attack Azumarill, those are going to hit pretty hard on anything. So yeah, Terrakion is weak to Bullet Punch, Mach Punch, and Aqua Jet, so that's Terrakion's main weakness. Now the old sets you saw with Terrakion with Life Orb 4 attack, the Rock Gem 4 attack, Sub Swords Dance, the Double Dance, well actually it's really Swords Dance and Rock Polish, but whatever, Double Dance just sounds nice. And then the choice sets, Choice Scarf, Choice Banded. All these sets, Terrakion, because of its amazing offensive typing, it really can run almost any offensive set effectively. The Swords Dance Rock Gem set was really popular. Sub SD had become popular towards the end of 5th Gen. The Double Dance set was really popular at the beginning of 5th Gen, along with the Choice Scarf set. Personally, I think the worst set is the Choice Scarf set, just because Terrakion, Scarf Terrakion, it's actually really good in Ubers. But I think for OU, I think Scarf Terrakion isn't that great because there are things that can switch into it. Something like a Skarmory or a Gliscor, and then you'll be stuck in on your close combats. So I think more like Life Orb or even Choice Band. Choice Band Terrakion hits a lot harder, especially because because of its typing. You can just click Stone Edge most of the time, and Choice Band and Stone Edge hits everything very super hard. But as far as next gen's concerned, again, I don't really see Terrakion changing too much either. It's already an amazing Pokemon. It doesn't really need anything else. It has all that it needs to take on any and every Pokemon that it could ever come up against, pretty much. Again, besides those like obscure counters like Nidoqueen and Golurk, Terrakion takes on most Pokemon. Now, Honedge though, Honedge is going to be a problem for Terrakion because Honedge resists both its stab moves, so you're probably not going to see that many choice Terrakions anymore. But again, Terrakion still has the ability to run something like Earthquake. So Honedge isn't, it resists both your stabs, but still you can hit it up with a Life Orb, Earthquake, or or maybe even a Choice Band Earthquake. You're going to have to predict. That leaves you open like Honedge plus Gliscor, and then you can take on pretty much any choice Terrakion with those two combined. So Honedge is definitely something you're going to have to watch out for because you won't be able to run Sub SD or even the Double Dance set with Honedge running around because he resists both your stab moves. So unless you're going to drop one of your stab moves for like Earthquake, but then again, Honedge plus Gliscor, and then you have your Terrakion is basically useless. So I think what you're going to see more is more of the Life Orb 4 attack Terrakions, because that's what really gives Terrakion its ability to handle anything and everything that could potentially switch in. So with Stone Edge, Earthquake, close combat. Now, for me personally, I ran Hidden Power Ice on my Terrakion, but people like to run the more popular move was X Scissor, for Celebi. But I ran Hidden Power Ice just because I didn't want Gliscor. I loved those Gliscor switching in on a close combat, thinking they were safe, and then they just died to a HP Ice. It was hilarious every single time, and nobody saw it coming. But yeah, you're probably going to see more Life Orb 4 attack Terrakions instead of the sub SD or double jams, just because Honedge is a thing now, and Honedge will take literally nothing from any of your moves. So I think that's how Terrakion is going to change in this next generation. But other than that, I can't really see any other moves that it would get that would change it drastically. Again, unless there's like unless it gets Drain Punch or something like that. I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of Rock Giga Drain that's physical that's going to be out next gen. I mean, again, you never know we don't know what new moves are out in 6th gen. So, but I just don't realistically see what move could possibly make Terrakion that much different than what it already is. So we're going to move on to Fortress. Now, Fortress's pros, its defense, it's able to set up hazards and rapid spin, which is a nice plus for Fortress. It has actually good typing. Bug Steel is really good typing, and then its ability, Sturdy, which allows it to live any one hit. So that's it got changed slightly in 5th gen, so that really helped out Fortress. Its cons are its move pool, and it's just stats in general are kind of just meh. But it actually does have some decent attack. 90 base attack is that's pretty good. But yeah, its move pool is really hindering. It really prevents Fortress from really doing anything other than just being a defensive Pokemon. So the old stats, defensive, especially defensive, obviously Spinner, Stealth Rocks or Spikes, maybe even both, Rapid Spin, Gyro Ball, Earthquake, sometimes for the Magnet Zones, or just Volt Switch. Fortress really, what really can Fortress do other than the same thing it's always been doing ever since 2nd gen when it was introduced into the game. So Fortress isn't going to change much. It's probably going to stay the same around its use. It's a useful Pokemon, so it's never going to not be used. But it's just going to do the same thing it's always been doing. Sorry. Next Pokemon, Gliscor. Gliscor is pros. Defense. It has good speed. It has good ability. With 5th gen, the Dream World gave it Toxic Heal, which just made, or Poison Heal, whatever it's called, which made Gliscor just one of the most annoying Pokemon in the game. It's up there with Sableye and Whimsicott. It's another Mega Mawile check, so you're definitely going to see Gliscor's usage go up because of that. It has really good typing, ground flying typing. It works really well in combination with Honedge, as I just said. And Gliscor has a really nice move pool. It's got a lot of moves to use, so that's really a plus for Gliscor. Its main weakness is going to be its 4x weakness to Ice. Really prevents it from walling on certain Pokemon just because it's weak to, super weak to Ice. Now, the old sets you saw were Subtoxic. That was the main set you saw. There was the Swords Dance set running around. There was that Fling Thief set that you saw in the very beginning of 5th gen because it was such a novel idea. Everybody wanted to use Fling plus Thief. I'm going to fling my Toxic Orb, then I'm going to take your leftovers. And it was just people just loved to use that set. You never saw that after maybe the first 2 months of 5th gen, but it was a thing that happened. Then just, the defensives, regular old defensives, and variations on that. Some people were running Aerial Ace. I was running Aerial Ace to deal with Breloom. Other people had Ice Fang. Other people just ran Sub. There's, Sub SD. But one thing about Gliscor that is very interesting is it has 95 base speed, 95 base attack. So you could definitely, and it has access to move like U-turn. You could run a Choice Banded Gliscor. You could run a Choice Scarf Gliscor. I remember I had a Choice Scarf Gliscor early on in the beginning of 4th gen, and it wasn't that bad actually. Definitely something that's unexpected that your opponent's not going to expect. Gliscor may get some new moves because it has such a wide move pool. That may be extended in a 6th gen. So be looking to see some, maybe something people trying to venture out with their Gliscors. And do something different. Now, again, I say that, but at the same time, Gliscor is a really good Mega Mawile check. So you're probably just going to see the standard old Sub, Toxic, Protect, Earthquake Gliscor because it really helps check Mega Mawile, and it's just an effective set. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. So Gliscor does have the potential to change. Again, we have to know, what new moves it's going to get in 5th gen, and maybe you might see people try to use Gliscor 95 base speed, and 95 base attack. You know, it also gets sword dance, agility. I mean, Gliscor has a lot of moves, and Gliscor has the stats to be more than just a defensive Pokemon. So, the next Pokemon we're going to talk about is Espeon. Espeon, which was once an NU Pokemon, got an amazing ability, Magic Bounce, which bumped it all the way up to Overuse. Espeon does have high special attack, base 130, and pretty good speed, which is base 110. Its cons are its move pool doesn't really have a lot of moves to use, and it's very, very frail. So, the old sets that people like to run, the main set you saw was dual screens, typically on teams where people like to have like a bunch of setup Pokemon. They would run dual screen Espeon with the ability to block the opponents from setting up hazards and then set up screens. Calm Mind being set, and Calm Mind offensive set, and then Baton Pass. People like to use Espeon on Baton Pass teams, and you know, if they got up a bunch of boosts and then just pass it to Espeon, I mean, it's just game over. So overall, Espeon. I think the main problem with Espeon is its move pool. That's really holds Espeon back from being a really good Pokemon, because obviously it does have the great speed and great special attack stat. And Espeon's frailty also hurts it too because of but it is only weak to Bullet Punch. But then again, you know, Bullet Punch does a buttload of damage. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, Azumarill is probably going to be coming back, and it was never OU, but it's going to be coming into overused next gen. So you're going to have to deal with Choice Banded Aqua Jets as well, potentially Rain Boosted Choice Banded Aqua Jets, which I'm pretty sure just straight up OHKO. So yeah, its frailty is really going to hurt it, but prevent it from being something other than maybe a defensive Pokemon. But the thing is that because it's so frail, I mean, there's really only so much you can do from the defensive side. I think it has maybe like its special defense is pretty decent. So I mean, I don't know. Espeon is like Espeon's usage is definitely going to go up, especially because you know Mega Charizard Y has the Drought ability, so people are going to want to protect that from getting absolutely obliterated by Stealth Rocks. So we're definitely going to see Espeon's usage go up, maybe even see Fortress and Donphan, their usages go up a bit more. Just because people are probably going to want to protect their Mega Charizard because they don't want it to get absolutely destroyed by Stealth Rock. So, I mean, Espeon is like a necessary thing. You got to have it, but you know, you got to figure out how am I going to use it. You know, that's kind of the problem with Espeon. It doesn't have enough moves to use it offensively. It's not strong enough really to use it defensively. It's kind of just like, I need it, but I don't know what to do with it. So I think people are gonna run into that same problem next gen for Espeon, unless again some new moves come around that Espeon can use. One thing about the Sun though is that Morning Sun, Espeon does get access to Morning Sun, and that's basically a recover that recovers 75% of your health in the Sun. So Espeon does have that going for it as far as on Sun teams go. But again, I really don't know how this Pokemon is going to change because again we don't know the moves. So its usage is going to go up, that's for sure. And we're just going to have to wait and see what 6th Gen has in store for Espeon as far as moves are concerned. And lastly, oh no, not that either. There we go. Lastly of the Pokemon in this video is going to be Infernape. Infernape, it's just been an amazing Pokemon ever since it was introduced. It has just great stats overall. Its only weak point being its defenses. It's very versatile, has a wide range of moves. Its stats allow it to be able to offensively do whatever you want it to do, and it really has good offensive typing. Firefighting is really good offensive typing. Its cons, as I just mentioned, is pretty frail. And even though it takes even 40% from a resisted Bullet Punch unboosted, so I mean that's kind of pathetic as far as that's concerned. But the old moves that you saw from Infernape, Choice Scarf, Choice Banded, and then the Life Orb for attack. And I think Infernape, I think Infernape's going to take a big hit. Because one of the main reasons why Infernape was so good was because it absolutely destroyed the Skarmory Blissey core, and you're gonna because of Blissey or even potentially Clefairy, I'm almost guaranteeing that Clefairy is gonna be a fairy. I mean, I might not even buy the game if it's not. Obviously, just kidding. But like even a Pokemon like Clefairy and Skarmory together, that was a core that Infernape would absolutely destroy and cause nightmares for the opponent. But now that Clefairy and Blissey most likely won't be weak to fighting moves anymore because they're going to be fairy types, that's really going to change Infernape's usefulness against that core. But it's going to make that core that much more stronger that it's not destroyed by Infernape. So. Infernape, even despite that, Infernape is still probably one of the best, if not the best, wall breaker in the game, just because of its versatility. It can do whatever. It has access to U-turn, Grass Knot, Thunder Punch, all these other, just an assortment of moves that it can use to you know, get those pesky walls out of the way. I mean, if anybody's played against a stall team, you know, all you have to do is just break down at least one of their walls. So just take out one of their switch-ins, and then you can change the tide of the battle. And Infernape was a really great Pokemon doing that. Now, because of the introduction of Fairy types, I don't know if it would be able to do that as effectively as it was able to do in 5th and 4th gen, because you know, the Fairies resist fighting, and then, you know, Pokemon like Azumarill just completely walls Infernape, and it's not going to take, Azumarill won't take too much from like Grass Knot, because Azumarill is not a heavy Pokemon, and you're definitely going to see more Azumarills in overuse because of the fact that it's a Fairy type. So I'm actually predicting Infernape usage to go down, despite that fact that it's such a great wall breaker, just because the Fairies kind of are going to cause some trouble for Infernape. Now, if you do see its usage go up, you're definitely going to see people probably use the Choice Banded set. They're just going to click Choice Banded Flare Blitz. You know, you run it on a Sun team, just click Flare Blitz and just destroy everything, because that's probably Infernape's biggest asset. Going to be next gen. Its biggest asset's not going to be its fighting typing, but the fire typing that it has, and its great speed, obviously. So you can just click Choice Banded Flare Blitz and, you know, tear through teams that way. So if you're going to see Infernape, you're probably going to see, you know, probably more Choice Banded Infernapes. I think that's just going to be the most effective and most potent set for Infernape next generation, with the introduction of the Fairy types, especially Pokemon like Azumarill and Gardevoir. Those Pokemon, you know, are going to be causing trouble for Infernape. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Again, tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm out of here. Deuces.